Hello, welcome everyone. Thanks for coming to join me tonight or today, depending on where you are in the world. And very excitingly, I'm going to be sharing today about Jewellers Academy Brighton for the first time on a live session. So I have some slides. I'm going to bring them up to help me, and also just to give you a little bit of insight into what it looks like in the studio. And I am joined today by the wonderful Sam, who is going to be helping in the chat as well. Feel free to use the chat to say hi to each other or to say hi to us. But basically, the idea behind today is to give you guys an overview of what to expect at Jewellers Academy Brighton, some of our classes, some things, some plans that we have coming up, and particularly, I mean, anyone can be here, everyone is welcome, but particularly for those of you that aren't based near us, I think this is a nice way to get to know a bit more about it, because we have our in-person open day coming up on the 27th of March, which if you are near Brighton, definitely come along to that as well. But we have quite a lot of students and jewelers who are traveling from as far as America and further afield and all over the UK to come visit and train with us. So an online open day is a really nice way to kind of learn a bit more and also get your questions answered. I'm just going to get my chat open as well. So maybe you could start by just sharing where you're tuning in from today if you are joining live. I don't live in Brighton, although I am close. I live in a little place called Goring by Sea, which is just along a bit from Worthing. So it's about half an hour's drive from Brighton. So it's a nice commute. I drive all the way along the coast in the morning, which is lovely. I'm very lucky. So we have Lizzie, who's here from Germany, close to Hamburg in the north. Welcome, Lizzie. Lovely to see you. Jane is here from Umbria in Italy. Amazing. Rachel from Pembrokeshire in Wales. So yes, it might be hard for you guys to get to the in-person open day. So this is a perfect alternative for now. And yeah, we have lots of students. For anyone who doesn't know our history, we used to have a school in London called London Jewellery School, where over 40,000 people trained with us, and we had lots of international students. So we're really welcoming and used to people coming from abroad and staying perhaps in a hotel, or sometimes if it was longer, people booked Airbnbs or those kind of things, and helping you guys feel as comfortable as possible during your stay. And sometimes you can combine it with other things like visiting relatives or having a holiday as well, which is really nice. I love going on jewelry making holidays. It's a thing that I've been doing recently, even just up to like Glasgow or up to different places. And the best thing about it is you don't have to go home and load the dishwasher after. You can go home after your jewelry class and just chill. There's no dogs to walk, there's no chores to do. So I highly recommend it. All right, well, we'll get into some of the content and have a look around Jewellers Academy Brighton for our little open day. So what is it? It's our brand new state-of-the-art jewelry training centre, which we're really excited has opened up in the last week or so. We've started having classes every day since then, which has been really nice. We've had our first event there as well. So we're kind of getting to know the community. Probably most of you guys know who I am, but just in case you don't, my name is Jess. Full name Jessica Rose. You can call me Jess, don't worry. And I started making jewelry when I was about 19, which is a long time ago now. I was 38 the other day, so it's 19 years. So I worked out I've been making jewelry for as long as I haven't since being alive. And absolutely love it, and love teaching jewelry making, love helping people to run their own jewelry businesses. And I keep opening jewelry schools because I just want to live in one, basically, because I want to do classes all the time and learn things. And even tomorrow we've got a class which I'm going to. So it's basically a selfish endeavor just so that I can do more jewelry making, but love you guys to come and join as well. So what we'll be covering today is looking a bit at the studios and explaining a bit about what they're like. I'm going to try and give you an idea, even though you're not there in person. I'll talk through some of the classes. There are over 50 different classes, so I'm not going to go through each one in detail because we will be here forever, but I'll give an overview, and please use the chat to share if there's any classes you'd like me to talk about specifically, or any like sort of questions that you guys had as we go through or towards the end. and I'll talk a bit about the diplomas because very excitingly, we're going to be running the diplomas in person again, yay. And there's a few different formats for that. And I'll also share a bit about the events we have. I mean, that will be less relevant for those of you overseas because the events are more kind of regular stuff, but anybody who is local might enjoy those. And also the masterclasses, which I'm very excited about, which are some really kind of high level advanced classes where we have visiting tutors coming, and we have a couple of those this year planned already, and we'll be gradually adding more and more as the school grows. So lots to get through. Brilliant. So let's start with the studios. There's a few pictures here. If you're watching on the phone, it might be a little small, but hopefully it gives you an idea. So we have 2 to 3 making studios. In each studio, there will be up to 8 students we can take in a class and a 9th bench for the tutor. We're really lucky in that we have incredible equipment in the studios. Basically, I just decided what I wanted to use or what I do use in my home setup. And I was like, let's just all have that because eventually this is what we're all going to probably want. And I tried to kit out the studios with things that I could literally say, this is where I got it from, because I love that people make their own stuff and kind of create their own things. But often when I went to classes, they'd be like, oh, I just made it out of a kitchen counter. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to manage to do that. I just need to know where I get things from. So that's kind of how I've done it. Anyone who's done any of our diplomas will know that we send out toolkits. And so every bench has a full diploma toolkit, which is everything that you need to make jewelry for, you know, for all of the different projects, which is great. And we're lucky that we had a warehouse that already had all of those ready. So it's just like, Marae, who runs the warehouse, please send us over all those kits. And she did. So we've been able to fit everything out. There's also a private tuition room. So whilst there's classes going on, there's also private tuition. I know quite a few people from overseas or people who are traveling have wanted to do private tuition because while they're there, they just want to learn exactly what they want to learn. So although there's a huge range of classes and hopefully you can time it, if you just know you want to learn something and you're going to be with us for a certain amount of time, we can absolutely match you up with a tutor to do private tuition as well. So yeah, 2 to 3 teaching studios, the private tuition space. We also have a kitchen, a pink kitchen, no less. Everything has to be on brand. We have at the moment an exhibition space, so we're hosting events and things, and of course our offices as well. So it's all happening. Also, I had to just give a moment of appreciation for the tools because this has been very exciting. I've done lots of shopping. I'm friends with Durston and Fordham and various other places. And I run a jewelry school before, and this time I really just wanted us to have great tools. So we don't have the most expensive tools ever because there's not really much point in getting things that are totally inaccessible, but kind of, you know, just shy of that. So every bench has its own micromotor. We've got rolling mills in each studio, lots of really lovely forming tools. I think it's nice when you go to a jewelry school, you can test things out and see whether or not it's something you want to invest in. We all need different tools depending on what jewelry making we love doing. There's lots of stone setting classes, so there's lots of tools related to that. Wax carving, we'll kind of run through everything. But yeah, we do love the tools. And at the moment, they're all shiny and new. I'm excited for them to get used and kind of worn in because I think tools are even better the more you use them personally. So like I mentioned, we've got more than 50 different classes and it's growing all the time. And if you guys have suggestions for classes, we're always open because we exist to just help people learn to make jewelry and run businesses. So we're definitely open to feedback and to anything that anyone wants to learn. We'll pretty much try and create a course in. We're open 7 days a week, which is exciting. So you can call any day, you can email any day, and we will get back to you. And we have daytime classes and evening classes. The days run from 10 till 5, and the evenings run from 6:30 till 9 p.m. So There's going to be a lot of jewelry making going on. I'm excited for it. So let's get into some of the classes, and I will come to questions in just a little bit. Um, so there's sort of different categories of classes. So the first one are our silver jewelry making classes, and we start right from the beginning with beginner silver jewelry 1, 2, and 3, which is one of the popular kind of entrances into jewelry making. In that, that's a bundle. We do some classes as bundles, which means you save if you order a few at the same time. And with our bundles, we have them spread out, but we also have times when they are together, particularly for people who we know are traveling or perhaps booking time off work and can only come for certain periods of time. We try and mix up the timetable so that some classes are on weekends, some are on weekdays, because everyone's schedule is slightly different. So we have the beginner classes, we have the soldering masterclass, the polishing and finishing masterclass. These are very technical classes, so are less about creating a finished piece of jewelry and more about developing specific techniques. We have things like chain making, granulation. The list goes on. Like I said, I didn't put them all in here, but I just thought I'd give you a flavor. And you can have a look on the website. There's a page for silver jewelry classes. Weirdly, there is also gold in the silver jewelry classes because it's kind of metal classes. So working with gold is something that we encourage people to develop and learn their skills in, because as jewelers, if you can make and sell gold jewelry, the profit margins are higher for you. So from a business perspective, it's a great kind of asset to yourself to be able to make gold jewelry as well. My personal favorite, if I had to choose, are the stone setting classes, because I'm obsessed with stone setting, and we have lots of stone setting classes and we're adding more all the time. Tomorrow's class, which I'm going on, is parve setting. We have an incredible stone setting tutor. We have a bunch of incredible stone setting tutors, but one of them is Stephen Barnett, who is really well known in the industry and incredible at teaching these more complex techniques. So he's going to be a regular with us. We have collet setting, which you can see in the bottom right hand corner. So this is like the big juicy kind of rub overs. We start with, there's a 2-day stone setting course, which is one of our most popular classes when we had it in London, which covers 3 types of settings, which is a brilliant introduction to stone setting if you're new to it. So you'll learn how to do a cabochon, a tube, and a flush setting over 2 days. So we kind of just put you through your paces with those stones, those settings. Then there's things like claw setting. There's a castle setting. Like I said, the list goes on. Working with shaped stones. I love pear-shaped stones, so I love learning how to do collets and multi kind of stone rings and things like that. So pretty much anything that you that you want to learn around stone setting, we're here for it. Then there's wax carving, which is also a favorite. They're all favorites, but I really do love wax carving as well. So we have 5 different wax carving courses at the moment. They're called level 1, 2, 3, and 4, which I'll run through in just a moment. And then the 5th one is a casting cleanup day. So the way that wax carved jewelry works for anyone who's brand new to jewelry making is that you carve your piece into wax. You can cast the wax piece either using something like sand casting, which we do at the school, or by sending your piece off to a professional casting house and they will send it back to you in a metal of your choice. So often in silver, could be in gold if you're feeling brave, could be in brass or bronze. And it's just a different way to create jewelry. It's a totally different process to working with metal. It's much more kind of easy to shape in some ways. You're carving rather than building up, so you're kind of taking away. So the level 1 class is the introduction to wax carving, where you learn how to do rings and charms and pendants. Level 2 is a stone setting class where you work on rub over settings. So you'll learn 2 different types of rub over settings. Level 3 is a claw setting class. So learning how to create claw settings in wax. And level 4, which is probably my personal favorite, is the cast in place stones in wax. So the ring in the top right corner is a beautiful cast in place rubies and gold. So we can't all do that straight away, but it's just so beautiful when it's possible. And then there's the casting cleanup day. And yeah, our wax carving tutors are super passionate about working in wax. They all run their own businesses with primarily with wax pieces. So you can ask them endless questions about about how and what they do. And one of our tutors, Paul, is also our caster. So he has a unique perspective because he offers casting at home as well in his home workshop. So he talks a lot about that kind of process too. And we do those as a bundle, so you can kind of do them. You can't do them all in a row because you have to get the piece cast before the cleanup day, but you can do 4 of them in a row and then come back for the cleanup day. Um, then we have silver metal clay. I absolutely love silver metal clay. This is kind of where my jewelry making journey began. I did a little bit of traditional silver work and then I moved into silver metal clay, and it's such a beautiful material to work with. It's just such a different process. Again, it's very relaxing. Or my experience of it is very relaxing. So for anyone who doesn't know, silver metal clay is a clay-based substance with millions of tiny silver particles inside. So you literally can shape it like a clay. You fire it either in a kiln or with a torch, and the clay binder burns away, and you're left with solid silver jewelry at the end, which you can hallmark, and it's fine silver jewelry. So we have a bunch of courses in metal clay. We have a beginner's course. We have stone setting in metal clay, adding gold to metal clay, which includes doing kind of K&Bu, which is a process of applying a layer of gold on top of your work using heat and pressure. It's very, very addictive. If, like me, you love gold, it's a very accessible way to start adding gold to your work. And I'm sure we'll be adding more silver metal clay classes as we go along. There's also the botanical in metal clay class, which has been very popular, which is kind of working with nature, creating molds, creating silver leaves. Metal clay takes texture beautifully, so it really lends itself to more organic kind of shapes and forms. So if that's your style, that could be a really fun one to explore. Then we have some like specialist classes. I haven't listed them all here, but one of them is enameling. We're really lucky to have a very expert enameling tutor who just happens to live really close by. She is one of the best enamelers that I've ever come across, and she's worked in the trade for many years as an enameler. So is super passionate about sharing her skills. So we have a level 1 and a level 2 enameling class at the moment, and I'm sure there'll be some masterclasses and things coming up in the future too. So if you have a kiln, or if you're thinking of getting one, or you need an excuse to buy one, we can help you with the enameling. We also have some jewelry business and design classes. We're working on building these out at the moment. We have 2 that are live, but a bunch more that are kind of on the way. So the ones that are live at the moment are the smartphone jewelry photography course, which is a 1-day jewelry photography course where you're learning how to take really lovely photographs and videos of your jewelry using your smartphone, which is super helpful for social media, for your website, for all manner of things. The other business course we have at the moment is the Start Your Jewelry Business Day course, which is with me. And we basically run through the day how you can get the best start and foundations for building a jewelry business. And I love teaching that class because I love jewelry businesses and getting people started on their journey and kind of seeing how we can make the best strides in the right direction. So that's always a good fun one as well. The design courses are coming. We are working on them at the moment. So over the next few months, we will have some dates available for those. And there's a couple of different design courses we run. There's technical drawing, which is really useful if you're looking at working with clients and you want to be able to show them exactly how you're going to be making certain pieces. But there's also it's also useful for manufacture if you're ever considering working with manufacturers. And then there's a more kind of general design class about how to develop your own signature style and bring your ideas to life. So that will be something we'll be expanding. Lots of talking. Hopefully some of it's some of it's relevant. It's so broad at this stage. It's so I'm sure there'll be bits where you're like, oh, I'd be interested in that. And you can start to pick out, yes, this is the strand that kind of feels relevant to me. Less relevant for those overseas, but for those nearby, we've got lots of evening and taster classes. So many of our classes we're going to run as evening classes that are 5 weeks long. So you can come along and do them as a group. And they're really lovely because you get to know each other and kind of build community as well. So wax carving, silver jewelry making, stone setting, all of these are available as evening classes too. Then I thought I'd just mention some of the most popular classes because it's so interesting to me, like at different times in different places, what people are most drawn to. Although I'm not that surprised, to be honest. So our most popular 6 classes so far have been star setting and grain setting, which is kind of using gravers to create these beautiful kind of little star settings. You can see a pendant in the top left corner, which has a star setting in. Sand casting has been really popular as well. I feel like it's really, it's the time for sand casting. I don't know why, but this is the time it's come. I think people will just love that they can make things out of wax, cast them at home, and have that really organic, kind of interesting look. And yeah, it's just great fun and recycling materials and all of that. The third one is the cast in place wax, which has a special place in my heart because it's just incredible to me that you can create something in wax with the stones, send it off, and it comes back and it's pretty much done. And you're like, I didn't even set any of those stones, and they're all set. Then claw setting and collet have kind of both been really popular, both really traditional, useful settings, great for just developing your skills as a jeweler anyway. Sea glass jewellery has been very popular, although I think it might be partly because of the tutor, Kelly Twigg, who is just amazing on Instagram and has this huge loyal following. But also sea glass is a lot of fun. It's nice that you can go and rummage for something, out there, reuse and recycle and create something out of it. And then the stone setting classes with Stephen Barnett as well, like the pave setting, castle setting, and he's going to be doing a princess cut setting, which I'm very excited for, which is like a square setting as well. So that's kind of like a quick whistle stop through the courses. I'll talk a little bit about the jewelry diplomas as well, because this is going to really be the core of what we're offering at the school. This is probably what I'm most excited about, because what I love about the diplomas is we get to know students over a period of time, and the students get to know each other, and it really builds this community, this kind of network of people who often stay in touch for the rest of their jewelry career. And it was my favorite thing about the London Jewelry School, and I'm sure it's going to be one of my favorite things here too. So very excitingly, we have decided to offer the diploma in silver jewelry as a summer intensive this year. We were going to do it next year, and then some things happened. And now it's happening this year. So this starts in June, which is only a few months away, which is awesome. The summer intensive is 7 weeks full time. So how it works is Monday to Thursday, each week is a teaching day, and then on the Friday is the workbench skills day, which is basically where you just finish all the things that you were doing Monday to Thursday that didn't quite get polished, finished, whatever. And it's just a little bit of breathing space as well, because it is an intensive, the summer intensive. There's a maximum of 8 places, and one of them has already gone. So we are excited to be able to offer this. We did run this at London Jewelry School, and it was always full. So again, very much primarily overseas students came to this program. And if it's something you're considering or thinking about, let us know if we can help you at all, especially with things like looking at accommodation, looking at travel and all of those kind of things. But yes, it's a new update for us, so excited to share it. There's a few updates in this session, so I'm glad you guys are here for them. Then the general diploma in silver jewelry will be running from September. It's 1 day a week. It runs across 3 terms. With all the diplomas, you're assigned an individual mentor, so you'll meet with them a few times a term. You'll also be taught by them a few times as well, so you'll probably meet them more than that, and they will be marking your work. And again, all the classes have a maximum of 8 students. For anyone who doesn't know about the diplomas, they kind of just assume that people know. They are our kind of flagship course. They're 1-year programs. We run 4 of them online. They all started from our physical premises in London. We then took them online because of COVID. They've continued online, and now we get to do them again in Brighton. So it's been a bit of a journey. And we're gradually going to be adding all of them. So our goal is in the end to run them all. But we're starting this year with diploma in silver jewellery. And very excitingly, also the diploma in fine jewellery is going to be run this year. It's not going to be as a summer intensive this year. It will be next year. But this year is going to be run from September, 1 day a week. Again, 3 terms, exactly the same structure. And if you guys want to know more about these courses, let us know. I won't run through it all now because it's like a whole other open day session. But happy to answer questions if anybody has any. And again, just really excited that we get to learn these things together in person again. As much as I love it online, there's just something about the energy in person that is can't be replaced, I don't think. So then in terms of events, we are going to be running lots of different events in the space. We roughly have an event once a month, but it does vary. So like I mentioned, for anyone who can get to us, we have our open launch party evening session on Thursday, the 27th of March, which is where we'll just be opening up our studios for anyone to come along and have a look around. We're also doing some mini gem fairs with 2 S's. Mini, not with 2 S's, that's just a typo. Mini gem fairs. So this is where gemstone suppliers come and put all of their beautiful things in front of us and torture us and make us spend money, which we've had 1 of so far, and there'll be some more coming up. We're also going to be running jewelry business meetups, which is just a chance for people who are starting or growing a jewelry business to get together and talk to each other and network with each other and just have a nice time talking about jewelry and businesses. They're very informal. Again, we used to run them in the past, and it was just lovely that people could get together, because I think when we're running jewelry businesses, it can be quite an isolating experience. As much as we like sitting on our own and focusing and making it the bench, it's so nice to be able to connect with other jewelers and have that kind of face-to-face contact as well as the online stuff. We'll be having some talks and some jewelry events coming up, and also taking part in open house, open studio sessions in Brighton. So there'll be lots going on. And if any of you guys from overseas or just different parts of the UK come, there may be an event while you're here. So it's possible that you could get involved in those too. And we like to socialize, you know, it's nice to connect. I thought I'd run through just a few of the tutor team because it is quite big and ever growing. But some of them, I'll just name them. If you know them, that's awesome. If you don't worry, you'll get to know them if you come and do classes with us. But I won't run through their whole history here because, again, that would take a while. But they're all very inspiring, incredible people. And they're all so excited to teach, which is the most important thing. So top left, we have Stephen Barnett. He is incredible jewelry tutor, stone setter, jeweler, all the things. He's got all the credentials. But what I love about learning from Stephen is he breaks down really complicated stone settings into something that feels really manageable and achievable for everyone. So I've done quite a few classes with him. There's me in the middle. I'll be teaching some classes as well. So I'm excited to be teaching in person again. On the right-hand side is the wonderful Julie. Julie has her own very successful jewelry business. She's actually based in London, but she's going to be traveling to teach with us. She does wax. She does a lot of the silver kind of work. And she's just so lovely, very talented, quite a lot of design-based stuff too. Bottom left is Maros. Maros is one of our regular tutors. She is an incredible enameler. She can kind of do everything that I ask her if she can do it, she says yes, and then she does it, which is great. So claw setting, collet setting, Yeah, kind of an all-rounder. She's worked in the trade for a long time. So when you work in the jewelry trade, it can be quite tough and you just get told what to do and you just have to adapt and do it. So when you're in the kind of workshops in Hatton Garden or the workshops in Birmingham, it can be quite unforgiving. So she's really kind of earned her stripes, I suppose. Paul in the middle is a wax carver and he's also the caster. So he's very passionate about the wax courses. Emma on the last one on this group, Emma Renee, has been part of the Jewellers Academy team for a while. She actually helped me design and write my book. So she's very involved with lots of things. And she's going to be teaching the smartphone photography course. And I'm sure she'll be teaching lots of other things as well. She's got two little people, so it's fitting it around schedules. A few more. Top left is Scott McIntyre. Scott is a master stone setter. He is very funny and an incredible stone setting tutor. He is probably the best stone setter that I've ever learnt from and absolutely love doing his courses. In the middle is a lovely Jane Taylor. Jane, I mean, these people are just amazing to me. Like the top, I mean, all of them are, but especially the top three in terms of their skills. Not just, they're all incredible at teaching and the different things that they do, but these jewelers, incredibly fine jewelry, and they just do it like it's nothing. Like, oh yeah, I can do that. That's no problem. Far right at the top is April Dace. I'll be sharing a bit more about her in a moment. Then we've got Jane on the left at the bottom with her cat. She's a metal clay tutor. Kelly Twigg in the middle teaches sea glass. And Eleanor on the far right corner does a lot of the sand casting, wax carving, and again, a kind of all-rounder. So lots of incredible people to learn from. And that's just some of them, but I figured that, we couldn't go on forever about the tutors, but lots of them. Okay, next, let's talk, we're getting there. Next, let's talk about the masterclasses. I'm very excited about these. So we have 2 masterclasses coming up this year. These are really aimed at people who've completed the diplomas, but anyone can join them if they are at the level that they feel kind of comfortable that they're going to get something out of them. So the first one is with April Dace, and it is the Tiara Wedding Band Masterclass. So we'll be learning how to make a 5 claw set tiara wedding band. So a tiara wedding band is one that kind of fits around the solitaire. So you can see it in the picture here. We've got the solitaire, and then the wedding band kind of fits underneath. And it's teeny tiny claws. Teeny tiny claws. So you do need to be very confident with soldering, have done some claw setting, know how to make a ring before taking this class. But I'm definitely taking this class. I can't wait for this one. This is what I do. I just pick what I want to do, ask them to come do it, and then invite you guys to come. So it's the best job ever. So this is a 3-day class that we're going to be running from the 2nd to the 4th of October. Bookings aren't open for it just yet, but we do have a waiting list available. So if anyone wants to join any of the masterclasses, just email us about it and we will add your name to the list. There's only going to be 8 places, so I think these are going to sell out well in advance. But yes, just can't wait to do this one. And we've filmed this as an online masterclass, so I've seen April do it and it looked incredible. And that's when I asked her if she could also come teach at Brighton. Second masterclass is with Scott McIntyre, and it is a halo ring making masterclass. So it's 3 days and we're going to be making a halo ring. The picture is not the halo ring, that's just one of his rings. He hasn't done the sample just yet because it isn't till October. So as soon as I've got a picture of what we're going to be making, I will share it. But a halo ring is a ring with a big claw setting in the middle, and then usually pave around the outside, and also creating a kind of split claw for the ring as well. So that's going to keep us busy for a few days, and that is the 15th to the 17th of October. So those are some things that we have coming up towards the end of the year. We also have a special offer on at the moment for anybody wanting to book their first class. There is a code there. It is new JAB10, It is available on all the day and evening classes. It isn't available on diplomas or bundles because they are already discounted because it's lots of programs together. But do write it down, and if you do go ahead and book a class, then make sure you take advantage of that one. And yeah, I think they're all the main things that I wanted to share, but happy to answer any questions or share anything else that anyone would like to know about. And we're just really excited to getting more people in the studios. It's been so lovely this past week having people come and visit. You can get in touch anytime. Our email is hello@jewellersacademybrighton.com. And just to show you a little map of where we are, Brighton train station, Brighton Pier, and we're kind of just in between the two. So we're right in the centre of town, right across from the beach. Best place to be. So you can go and have your lunch on the beach, which is the best. And yeah, we can get into any questions if there were any. I can stop sharing the slides so I can see everyone a bit better. Yeah, I'm just going to scroll through and see if there were any questions. Or Sam, if you have any that you saw, feel free to post them or share them, just so I can make sure that I don't miss any. Let's have a look through.
There was a question on pricing of private tuition.
Oh, yes. So the private tuition starts from 295. So if it's a class that our regular tutors can teach, it's 295. But if we need a specialist tutor, then it could be upwards from there. But if you let us know what you'd like to learn, we can get a quote over to you. So some of the things, like some of the more advanced stone setting might be a specialist tutor, for example, but most of the classes we can do with our regular team of tutors. And what we usually say with private tuition is, as a general guide, you can usually get done what you can get done in 2 days in a general class, in a private tuition class, and it roughly costs about 2 days worth. So actually it ends up being about the same in terms of value, what you can get out of it. So we try not to make it like way more. I mean, it is more, but yeah, if you were to pick, say, 2-day classes, you could most of the time fit 2-day classes into 1 day because it's just you and the tutor, which is quite nice. Also, I just see fish and chips, which is a great comment all round. Here for that. Were there any other questions, Sam? Oh, I see one from Lizzie that says, does Brighton have an airport? Which I saw you answered as well. But yes, we're actually really close to Gatwick Airport. And it's easier to get to Brighton than it is to London from Gatwick, which is nice. So if you're flying in, Gatwick would be the best, like the closest. If you have to fly into another airport, you can still get to us. Just give yourselves a little bit of time because it might be sort of other sides of London. But luckily, Gatwick has a direct train into Brighton. And we are about 10 minutes walk from Brighton train station. So it's a nice, easy one to get to. Rachel says, I'm interested in some more stone setting post-fine, but perhaps an interim before the tiara setting. Oh, you mean, so you've done, so I understand, Rachel, that maybe you've done the fine diploma. Yes, and you're looking for some more stone setting. Yeah, so I mean, you could try the tiara. It could happen. I mean, I'm not, I'm not like master level and I'm gonna do it. I think it depends on your approach. Like if you're happy to just learn as much as you can, or if we go in with that perfectionist, like I need to make a perfect tiara, then it might be harder. But April is so lovely and she's very, very thorough. So my advice would be if you've done the fine and you like the look of it, go for it. I mean, technically, like on the online progression, we recommend doing the advanced before doing the master classes, but it's all a little bit like, well, in an ideal world, but it doesn't mean basically you'd be welcome on the tiara one. Maybe just do a little bit of claw setting before you come, just to build your confidence. But you've done quite a lot on the fine, so you've done a tennis bracelet on the fine, so that's doesn't get much harder than that. Brilliant. Plans for Montcalm. Actually, a few people have asked about that. Maybe, yeah, if enough people want to do it, why not? Sounds like fun. Yeah, this was a question. Okay, yeah. Sorry, Sam's just shared the question with me. Yes, so I mean, yeah, sure, let's do it. I'm up for it. I'm up for all the things. We will let you know when we have a tutor. I'll chat with the tutors and see how we'd want to teach it. It's for anyone who doesn't know, it's using lots of different mixed metals and doing lots of layers. And it's quite popular for sort of engagement, wedding rings. It's a little bit niche, but it's really yeah, it looks really beautiful. So it's building lots of layers using the rolling mill, kind of creating this almost look like wood, but with all the metals mixed together. So it's pretty cool. Joanna says, "Hi Jess, I'm a little confused whether to do the stone setting in silver so that I can incorporate this into my wax carved designs. But do I need to do a specific wax finishing course instead?" Yeah, so the wax can be a bit confusing. So if it depends what you want to do. There's so many different ways to do it. So you can create pieces in silver and set them in silver. You can create pieces in wax and set them after you've done the wax casting process. But what I tend to do, if I'm making a wax piece and I'm setting a stone in it, I will create the setting in the wax and then just finish it off in the silver. So if that's your plan, I would probably do the wax carving course that has the setting that you're most interested in learning. And then maybe come to the casting cleanup day where we will be doing settings in the wax pieces. But you can also, because we don't do a class in every single setting in wax, you can also learn to do any of the settings in silver and incorporate them into your wax pieces after. So I don't know if you have a specific design in mind, and maybe I can be more specific, but yeah, it helps to create the setting in wax so that you're not going straight into the silver. But you can go straight into the silver. There's just so many options. That's why it's hard. So yeah, maybe Joanna, you can share a bit more about the design and I can give you a hand. It says, "Oh, thank you. I'm thinking that I will have a ring cast. Then I want to flush set into that." Yeah, so for the flush setting, there's two ways you can do it. You could do the stone setting in silver and learn how to do a flush setting and set flush setting after the piece is cast. That will be absolutely fine, especially if you're doing small stones, like up to 3 mil, which a lot of flush settings are. If you want to do a larger stone, like 5 mil, 6 mil, then I would create the setting in wax, and then it's almost more like a rub over. And this is where flush and rub over kind of are like, well, it could be called either. And that in that case, I would make it in wax and then use the casting cleanup day to kind of do the setting after. So I think probably the first option is going to be what you're looking for the smaller stones. Awesome. Okay. Any more for any more? Yeah, so for 3 mil, then I think you could do the stone setting in silver one would be fine. And if you already know how to do the wax, then you'll be ready to set stones in it, which is a great place to be. Brilliant. Well, thanks everyone for the questions. I hope I've got to them all. Apologies if I haven't. But do feel free to follow up and send us an email. We're also have our Instagram account, Jewellers Academy Brighton. And yeah, just thank you guys so much for being here. I'm excited to see some of you hopefully in the studios one day. And if we can help at all with anything, we are here. There's a whole team of us, and we're very happy to help with organization and plans, or just give us a call and just tell us what you want to make, and we'll help you figure it out. Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Sam, for helping as well, and have a lovely rest of your evening, and we'll speak soon. Bye for now.